Hello and welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to give you an update on my Tohatsu 9.8 horsepower outboard. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll know just over a month ago I put a video up where I got into real trouble with this outboard. I was a couple of miles offshore, the outboard cut out on me, I couldn't get it started, and I then had to do an emergency exchange out on the water with my Yamaha 2.5 horsepower outboard. So a real good advertisement for keeping a spare outboard with you, particularly when you're going quite far offshore. So since then, I did have some ongoing problems with the outboard. I did manage to get it started again, but it was very difficult to start. It needed high revs and the outboard kept cutting out on me. So I did a bit of testing with the outboard at home. The outboard would run, it varied. Sometimes it would run for 5 minutes, sometimes it would run for half an hour before cutting out. And when it cut it out, it seemed like it just was running out of fuel. Similar to what you would do at the end of a day, you would let all the fuel run out and let the outboard cut out itself. After the outboard cut out, the only way you could get it started again was to pump up the bulb on the fuel line, and importantly the bulb had gone flat. When you did this, the outboard started very reliably. It would run again for another 5 minutes, sometimes a bit longer, before the same thing happened again. You tried starting it again, there was no way it was going to start until you pumped up the bulb. The only other thing that I noticed was that whenever I raised the outboard motor tank up, so it was higher than the outboard, it didn't cut out. And that was the only way I could run the outboard without it cutting out. So I sent the videos of the problems I was having with the outboard over to Tohatsu. They looked at it and said, yes, this definitely looks like a fuel delivery problem. To go ahead and send the outboard to them and they would get the problem sorted out for me. So that's what I did. It went away to them just over a week ago and the outboard has come back to me with their report. So I'll share the details of that report with you. So looking at the report, the first thing they did was they tested the outboard, running it in their tank in a variety of different conditions, and it actually seemed to run okay for them. And that was the big problem I was having with this outboard. It was an intermittent fault and you couldn't reproduce it all the time. Next thing they did was they tested all the electricals, where they didn't find any problem there. So they went on ahead and tested the fuel system. Everything seemed okay, apart from they noticed some suspicious discrepancies in the carburetor. The other thing they noted was that the float bowl seal showed obvious signs of ethanol corrosion from the fuel used. And what they have said that this may in turn have either caused air to ingress or fuel leakage. So what they did, they stripped and cleaned the carburetor, they blew compressed air through all the jets and galleries to remove any possibility of contamination. On reassembly, they applied the latest version of the float bowl gasket as a precautionary measure, and then they tested the carburetor. As well, free of charge, they have provided a full service to the engine. They have sent it back to me with a carton of engine oil and a very nice maintenance kit as well. And I'll go ahead and show you what's in the maintenance kit. Okay, so let's have a look and see what's in here. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of stuff in here. So most of this I have absolutely no idea what to do with. It's not like a computer, but I suppose it's nice to have it. So very nice of Tohatsu to include this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the outboard filled up with oil and give it a test run in the bin in my back garden, just to check everything's working as it should. But before I do that, I want to thank Tohatsu. Tohatsu have been brilliant throughout all of this. It's not unheard of that when you buy a new product, there can be issues with it. Thankfully, they're rare, but when they do happen, it's the response the manufacturer takes that you can judge them by. And Tohatsu have been perfect throughout all of this. Their communication has been excellent. When I went to them with a problem, it was like, no problem, send it to us, we'll get it sorted out. And that's exactly what they have done. The communication was great afterwards. I've got a nice report of all the testing that they have done and what the issue was. They've covered the cost of shipping the outboard. They've given it a free service. They've even sent it back with a tub of oil, which I'm going to need, and a free maintenance kit. So what more could you ask of a company? Problems are going to happen, but when they do happen, they sort them out. So I can without any doubt recommend Tohatsu as a company and the outboards. I've had great fun with this outboard, and upgrading to this outboard has been one of the best decisions I've made, despite the fact that I've had a few issues with it. It seems to be about the right speed of outboard for the boat that I have, and I'm now racing along the water at over 20 miles an hour and having great fun in the boat. Whereas before, the boat was just a vehicle to get me out to the fishing spot. Now I'm having a great time going along the water at a great speed. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this filled up with oil and give it a test. Okay, so the outboard should take somewhere between 600 and 800 mils of oil. I've got a litre of oil here. So perfect, that's just midway up the indicator. Okay, so the outboard's run for over half an hour, no issues with it at all. It's had a good stream of water throughout, and checking here, this is dead, nice and hard. So it seems like the problem has been fixed. So that's great. Hopefully if I get a good day, I'll get the boat out, even though it is over the winter and the weather's cold. And if I do that, I'll make a video of it and put it up on the channel. So I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel over the last year, and to wish all the subscribers a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.